We welcome you back to restarting coverage, if you will, of the BRB Sundance Pro Series in the Pulaski Swamp Donkeys 200 at Richmond Raceway. We had a brief software crash. We're about to go back live with racing. We'll just get right back to it as drivers enter the restart zone. Christian Barnes will take us into the restart zone here, and we are racing once again with Johnny Wood Jr. down to the inside. Zach, while we reacclimate ourselves to Richmond Raceway, what did we miss?
One caution, Caden Perkins ended up going around, and then we had some issues with Steven Chisnall, Richard Wolsifer, even Dustin Stallings having a few issues as well. But we're still rolling. The stage was flipped by Christian Barnes and Anthony Teseo. They stayed out after taking tires on that lap 50 yellow. And it looks like, for the first time in a while, Scott Fritz is not leading tonight here at Richmond. He led all but 2 laps in that first stage, and now he is fighting to hang on to second with Johnny Wood Jr. hounding him on the inside.
Battle for fourth. Stephen Borbell on the inside of Anthony Teseo. Borbell wins that fight. That puts the 2 ahead of the 15. Carl Porter in the top 10. Adam Buzzio got loose. He hangs on just ahead of Kyle Klenk. Meanwhile, on board with Cameron Carden, this is kind of his race. He's got a front row seat to 3 wide, but the Pulaski Swamp Donkeys are his wiffle ball team that he got going in 2023. He's so excited to have them represented here in the BRB Sundance Pro Series. This is the Pulaski Swamp Donkeys 200, and he is representing, well, he's a central Southern Virginia boy from the Pulaski County area around what was Motor Mile Speedway, now Pulaski County Motorsports Complex, I believe, is more or less the name. Cameron, a driver over at Whiplash Racing, needs a race like this, Zach, in the top 10. I know he might have pitted there at the end of the stage and whatever. He got here maybe by circumstance, but he is competing with Carl Pooler, with Magnus Anderson. His teammates are right behind him, and Anderson and Parent. This is a really good look for car 25.
Yeah, it's really great to have teammates sitting right there behind you, waiting in the wings. And Evan Patinko, not too far behind the rest of this group. He's sitting down in the 19th position, battling with Caden Perkins. So the Whiplash cars definitely showing up and showing out, trying to represent tonight as we continue on in this 200-lap event. Barnes, Fritz, Wood, Borbell, Teseo, your top 5. And then it's Klenk, Buzzio, Pooler, Carden, and Anderson, that top 10. And then Brandvold, I do want to make a mention of this. He was up there running with these guys. He was inside the top 5. He was really working on the back bumper of Stallings for that second spot. He's fallen outside the top 10, right behind this group of the Whiplash cars. Actually, take a look going into turn number 1. Dustin Stallings right behind Brandvold, fighting it out, getting loose on corner exit. Brendan Maddox behind him. They're all just trying to work on it. Brandvold, they've definitely lost some spots. Stallings definitely lost some spots. Maddox trying to regain some ground. I actually, Andrew, spoke with Brendan Maddox before the racing events took place tonight. Spoke with him last night after the practice race. He was not feeling confident about his race pace. He was definitely trying to find some struggle spots. We talked for a little bit, told him a couple of tips and tricks on how to run this race at Richmond, how to be able to get into the groove, and he is trying to work those in and see if he can get a few more positions tonight, hang on to that points lead.
Dives the inside there of Cody Dorsey. That's for 15th spot. Tyler Bentley gets loose ahead. Bentley checks up on the bottom lane. He's racing with his teammate, actually, in Zach Brandvold. That kicks Stallings up the racetrack. Maddox down low. That brings Perkins into it. Oh, my goodness. They are racing big time. That's actually Gray Walker. Now his paint scheme is updated. He is in a mirrored paint scheme to what Caden Perkins had. I've been informed this is a Waluigi replica, if you will. I played Mario Kart on the Wii. I never saw this paint scheme. I have to imagine, there you go, there's the other car in the background of Caden Perkins. I have to imagine this was an unlockable that I just never managed to unlock. But hey, props to them. That's a couple of good-looking race cars there for Gray Walker and for Caden Perkins. In the wall hard, Zach Brandvold losing some spots. He falls back here to the 14th spot.
Rolling to the outside line, trying to hang on to what he can, falls right in front of Brendan Maddox. The fight behind him, Caden Perkins down to the inside line. Excuse me, that's not. Now I'm getting confused with those two paint schemes. Fighting up front, though. Top 10. Joshua Parent to the inside of his teammate. Cameron Carden rolling right up the racetrack. Carden almost to the wall. Parent and the 25, the 22 and the 25 side by side. Bentley and Stallings right behind them. Getting a little squirrely. Trying to hang on to it. See if he can break into the top 10 for the first time tonight. Joshua Parent. As Stallings taps the wall. Bentley down to the inside.
So Carden has slipped back behind his teammates, Magnus Anderson and now Josh Parent. Parent drives into the top 10 now, passing Cameron Carden here into turn number 1. This brings Bentley in. This brings Stallings in. There's a lot of battling here just at the end and, well, outside of the top 10 here as Bentley drives to the inside now of Cameron Carden. This is a tricky racetrack. I know we've been saying that a lot. I know we said it a lot about Nashville. You know, go back to our major series broadcast over the weekend at Bathurst. I said it a lot about Bathurst, but truly, this is a tricky racetrack. Richmond, as I've pointed out a couple of times already, very hard to drive off the corner. The car wants to get very loose because you typically have a lot of wheel in it, and suddenly it all falls away. You know, Adam Buzzio talked about it earlier. You're really, really tight. It's a relatively flat racetrack. You're tight through the corners, and then suddenly the car gets way free when you exit. It's really hard to manage, and it comes down to throttle control, steering control. It's a lot that has to go right for you in order to be fast here at this racetrack.
We saw Dustin Stallings give the bumper to the back of the 25 car, shuffle him up the racetrack a little bit. Now he's side by side with Brendan Maddox. And up front, Kyle Plank is making moves. He just got by Stephen Borbell to get up to the 4th position, go and chase down Johnny Wood Jr. You can see just how much these guys are spreading out, catching some lap cars up front. And everything just rolling smooth and solid now. See Wolsifer tapping the wall. He's at risk of going a lap down here. Barnes hanging on to a comfortable race lead over Scott Fritz. Closely reeling him in, though. And Richard Wolsifer might play a factor into that here.
Richard about to go a lap down to race leader Christian Barnes. Wolsifer has just hung on to the lead lap, but now loses that lap. It's been reported by Zach King reports that he had a black screen issue, which sounds somewhat similar to what we had, although he seems to have been able to stay in the session. We completely dropped out of iRacing, dropped out of OBS and everything, so it definitely hindered the broadcast, obviously, as you all saw. But Wolsifer seems to have been on the better side of that, and he continues on, just now one lap down. Had a couple of issues, but is getting back up on the wheel here, trying to keep his race alive. He's the first car one lap down for now. Dakota Bly's up the road of these guys, though, so that could change here within the next 10, 15 laps or so. Whoa, look at this. Magnus Anderson flying through to the inside of Anthony DeSeo. A bunch of Fords here fighting. Anderson, DeSeo, and Parent, and then Parent now under fire from Bentley.
Yeah, that really shuffled out Parent right there. He gets forced onto the top side. It's going to end up costing him potentially some positions. DeSeo back to the bottom of Magnus Anderson, trying to hang on to what he's got. Remember, he took tires earlier on, tried to flip the stage, get some stage points. Now, Joshua Parent's going to roll to the top side. Oh, they're loose. Buzzio's going around on the backstretch.
Uh-oh. Julie Buzzio in the YouTube chat earlier very kindly asking the field not to wreck her husband. Unfortunately, he has gone around now. He had some damage on the nose of the car already, so we'll see what happens here out of turn 2. Is it contact or something else? He got loose, and I think for that matter, he ended up being somewhat down the racetrack from where he usually would have been, but Brendan Maddox does kind of drive into his left rear just a little bit. Here's a look at it. Slow it down. Adam gets loose, and that kind of results in him being lower down the racetrack than usual as Brendan tracks out. That's a couple of veteran drivers here in the series that, if I had to guess, Zach, will likely have very different opinions about how that one just played out.
Oh, I'm sure. I am very much sure.
And it's a charge down the pit lane led by Christian Barnes. Here comes the race off the pit lane. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Here comes Barnes. Around the corner, there he goes, ahead of Fritz, ahead of Johnny Wood, Kyle Klink, Anthony DeSeo, Stephen Borbell, Coulter Clark, Josh Parent. This is going to be 4 in fuel for the most part, although, let's see, yeah, 4 in fuel really among the drivers who pitted aside from Coulter Clark. It's a 5-second pit stop for him. Let's dial up the Stage 1 winner that we didn't get to talk to earlier. That's going to be Scott Fritz, of course. Let's bring in driver 48 once I can track him down here in the Discord. And there he is. We'll grab Scott Fritz after a Stage 1 win. We had a big hardware failure there for a brief moment, Scott, but a Stage 1 win for you here at Richmond. That's a big deal, I think, for your effort and getting this season rolling. Of course, Nashville didn't go your way, but seems like tonight might be a little better.
Yeah, this track kind of really plays into, got to really be easy on the throttle. The car wants to step out. Haven't really gotten loose at all yet. Just keeping it straight and smooth, and it's really helping us. We're one of the best in the long run, so I think if we can just get some long runs here, we'll be in good shape.
And of course, there were plenty of tracks where you were still competitive in the old car, the next-gen car, which is kind of odd, but you know, we switch here to a more simple kind of stock car, the ARCA car, and it seems like you're excelling more. Why is that?
The next-gen car seems to really run, just kind of drive off the right front. It's tight. You kind of just got to drive that car real straight. This car drives more off the right rear. You can drive it right on edge, a lot more throttle control, turn the car with the throttle, so it's a lot like a dirt car, kind of, so in a way, not really, but in a way, but just definitely plays into what I'm used to.
Hey, we'll move you back up to your teammate Matthew Selby. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Fritz will join the field here in 11th for this restart. Here we go to the restart zone. Green flag back on the way. That's Carl Pooler out front. A handful of drivers just stayed out. Those are Pooler, Bentley, Anderson, Brandvold, Perkins, Stallings, and Maddox, along with Van Wingerden and the other Maddox, all staying out. Under that yellow, 3 wide off the corner. That's going to be a crash. Big one at Richmond. It's a short track. We knew it was possible.
All started.
Kind of started with this car, I think. Interestingly, Zachary Maddox is the winner of tonight's MXWraps.com Best in Show contest. Unfortunately, he seems to have been at the center of this incident in one way or another. I mean, literally center of the racetrack here between Christian Barnes and Braden Van Wingerden. Barnes got the wall. That pushed Maddox down low. Really, this all hinges on the 27.
There's nowhere for a lot of those drivers to go. Unfortunate incidents for guys like Stephen Borbell, Joshua Parent. All really got caught up in a logjam when Magnus Anderson missed it on the start. Big hits all over the place.
That only shows part of it. There's a lot going on back there. I want to go back to the start, though. This is, okay, so watch the 27. He's going to get a big start around the outside of the 14. And I'm going to say, to be critical, honestly, if you're going to make this charge 3 wide, you better make sure you don't knock the wall down off the corner, or this is what happens.
There was a bit of a squeeze right there between 27 and the 14.
I mean, he was hitting the wall
multiple
regardless.
Cars getting into it. I don't disagree.
Let's go back and watch that one more time between the 27 and 14. Watch the top side of the racetrack here. Zach could have left him more room, but Christian, I think, was hitting it regardless, and this all starts up. Coulter Clark with a really big hit. Josh Parent, Sam Dyer, Ethan Johnson, my goodness. There's a lot to try and digest. Let's watch the 22 here. Center of the screen, black and orange 22. He's got Selby behind in the red and yellow 46. Oh my gosh. Buzzio got slowed down. Borbell got a piece. Jason Bottoms was behind all that to start. Here's a top-down view. Cameron Carden I saw go by it. Oh, wow. Patinko tried checking up, and Gray Walker just runs smack through him. Bottom stopped on the bottom of the racetrack to miss it.
Nothing that could have been done right there for a lot of those guys.
Here's Ethan Johnson. You'll see Walker. When Patinko starts checking up, that sends Patinko down in the wall. It's a big hit for him. Sam Dyer came in there from a little ways back. Oh boy. We've just gone green. Oh my gosh. Just like that. Back up to the front. Not enough time to properly check out that caution. There's Carl Pooler, Tyler Bentley making contact. We are back green at Richmond. Magnus Anderson around the outside in car 4. He was strong late in the going at Nashville a week ago. Looked like he had race-winning pace at one point in time. Was battling with a lot of these same cars. Here he is now. 90 laps to go. He's up here. Perkins got loose down low. I think Stallings did as well, but this Ford seemed okay. Scott Fritz is rejoining this. Look at Maddox straight to the inside of Anderson. Off the pit lane now, Adam Buzzio. That's right into this battle. Buzzio on the inside of Stallings and Perkins. That squeezes things. This is going to get hairy down in turn 1. Maddox behind Buzzio. That's checking him up. There's a caution. Cameron Carden.
We got another caution on the speedway. Cameron Carden. Around in turn number 2. Got some right rear damage.
Racing with Zach Maddox and Johnny Wood Jr., who was right behind the cars we were just watching. There was this checkup ahead of him. I wonder if that's part of this. Absolutely. He jumps on the brakes big time, gets loose, spins around, and gets clipped by one car trying to go by. I'm fearful of who I think that was. It wasn't him. Oh boy, who was it? Oh, that was the 2 of Borbell. Magnus Anderson now pitting in live picture, but this is the replay of Borbell trying to miss the 25. He ends up spinning after contact there with the right side of his car. And now pit stops happening live. There's a handful of them. Barnes into his box. Borbell into his box. Bottoms, Anderson, and some more. There's Anderson coming out of the pit lane. And the herd has aggressively been thinned with that big one we saw in turn 3, Zach. Sounds like Zach is having some audio difficulties. That's okay. We have got just over 80 laps to go. Carl Pooler leading here under caution. Now, since we got back in the sim, there are 2 drivers who have not pitted at all yet. That's 40, 50 laps at this point. Those are the 71 and 12 who are now the front of the field. They have not pitted since we rejoined. I think they're waiting to get clear on fuel. I think they're trying to take this track position and run with it, and I like this move. If you can stay out front and make it work, I think it's a good strategy to go with. Obviously, that's not always the case. And Pooler, it looks like, will take the inside lane here for this restart. The iRacing.com safety car lights have been extinguished. A lot of Fords out front, 6 of them to be exact, either all teamed up or aligned in one way or another. Carl Pooler leading the way from Maverick Motorsports. They've got Dustin Stallings and Brendan Maddox in row 3. And you've got Spirit Racing in the second and third spots with Bentley and Branvold. And then Perkins is kind of a spin-off, shoot-off from there. He works with that group as well, Accelerate Racing, working with the other two Toyota teams in that lineup. So we are about to go back racing with 83 laps to go here in the Pulaski Swamp Donkeys 200. Here we go, back green flag at the restart zone. Carl Puller with the lead down to turn number 1. Tyler Bentley, teammates with Zach Branvold on the inside. They battle now for the second spot with Caden Perkins there, Dustin Stallings, Brennan Maddox, and then Scott Fritz not far back. And at this point, it seems that Zach Murtis is going to have to leave us for the night. Technical difficulties on his end. We are not the only ones, clearly, but that means we get to bring in our pre-race show co-host, Zach King, to the broadcast booth for the final 80 laps of this Pulaski Swamp Donkeys 200. Zach, this has been a tumultuous race. I think patience is starting to wear thin among a lot of drivers. These incidents continuing on here tonight, not what you want to see.
Yeah, it just looks like a repeat of last week at Nashville. It was just the first part of the race looked really, really solid, and then once we got about to halfway, it just seemed like everybody's starting to fall apart. But it looks like we got a good green flag run starting to get going here now.
Battle for the race lead, Tyler Bentley right on the back bumper of Carl Puller. Good to see Carl leading laps. We talked about it earlier towards the top of the race. He's racing tonight, not only under the weather, but particularly with COVID in his own second bout with it. I recently went through a second bout of it myself, but he's got Bentley to his inside, and I suspect Carl may just let that one go. If he's not feeling too good, he might not want to get too much on the wheel, as Maddox throws a block here on Scott Fritz down to turn number 3. This is hard racing for 5th. Fritz, I think, tried to get back to him, but not quite there.
And Fritz in battle, and now it's 4 cars under a blanket as they come into turn 1. Maddox gonna be able to clear Fritz as they go down into turns 1 and 2. He's able to pull away here. Top 5, all single file. Top 6 now.
That extends back to Caden Perkins and Johnny Wood Jr. Remember, this stage, long, 140 laps from the stage break we saw earlier, right when we had those technical difficulties all the way to the end of the race. No more stage breaks at this point. Magnus Anderson gives a shot there to Caden Perkins, who tried to slide in line. And here comes the 4 car to the inside of the number 19, looking down low, a block there from Caden. These guys are realizing track time is starting to wane. They've gone through a number of laps. We're starting to look closer and closer towards the end here. They don't want to give up spots. We're starting to see more and more blocks down these straightaways. There's one from Maddox for a brief second, but Fritz will get down low.
Fritz and Maddox still battling hard side by side, still trying to get there. Scott Fritz. Brendan's to be able to pull down the straightaway to go into turn 1.
On board Scott Fritz, he gets back to power. Launches down the straightaway here to the inside of Brendan Maddox again. And he ships it on the 23, sends Brendan at the racetrack, but you see Scott lifted for him big time. Once he realized he was in too deep, got out of it, let Brendan gather it up. Now Johnny Wood Jr. to his inside.
All this right in front of Magnus Anderson, who's had a great day to this point so far. Got to be wary if you're Magnus right here. We're just seeing how hard the 48's driving.
Side by side still for the 6th position. They're not done ahead. Dustin Stallings has driven up and passed his teammate Carl Puller. So Stallings now chasing down rookie Tyler Bentley, who's got the race lead here. There you see, currently first, now 7 laps led across the stripe. I believe these are his very first laps out front of the field in a BRB race. He might have had a few at Daytona, but certainly these are his most significant laps out front as we near 70 to go.
Yeah, that's Spirit Racing's own Tyler Bentley. And then it's all Maverick Motorsports and Accelerate. No, that is Spirit. Spirit first and 4th with Maverick. 2nd, 3rd, and 5th.
Meanwhile, here's the first side-by-side fight. Magnus Anderson on Johnny Wood Jr. It was side-by-side, now gets back single file. Anderson dives to the inside there in turn 3, gets alongside Johnny Wood Jr. And nearly contact off the corner.
Anderson has looked really, really strong tonight. Trying to get inside the top 10, trying to get inside the top 5. Running an 8th now.
Caden Perkins just behind in the 19. Scott Fritz still trying that alternate line. We saw he and Dustin Stallings flipping lines earlier in the race, back and forth. One would go high, one would go low. Each trying different things. That's showing just how multi-groove this car and track combo can be. And here you see he gets the run off the corner. You could not do this, at least not to this extent, in the next gen car. It is more locked in, it's more sensitive to everything. So you can't move around quite like this. This is good to see from this race car. You can move around a lot more, I feel like.
Yeah, these cars move around a lot than just what the next gens did. The next gens, they just felt so planted. It was so hard to get them to move around. But these ARCA cars open up so many lanes, so many chances. Oh, it's Anderson. It's close to the bumper. The 75 makes contact in the middle of the corner. Wow.
I think he gave him a shot, but he waited until later in the corner, wanted to at least let Johnny gather it up first, and I think that's the way you do it, right? If you're going to give somebody a message like that, send them that shot, you let them gather it up and get settled in the corner, then give them a little tap, say, hey, I'm here and I want to go by, you know, I'm getting tired of following you. I think that's how you send that message as we work on 65 to go the next time by the stripe.
And we are inside the field windows. Field window is about 69, 70 laps. We are in the range. If we do go stay green, we will be seeing a green flag pit stop here shortly.
From the fan cam, as we watch Brendan Maddox, this is his favorite string of cameras everywhere we go. Loves watching the fan cam, these perspectives around the racetrack from realistic fan shots as one car gets held up. Stallings in some lap traffic here. One car was high, that was Clark. One car was low, that was Johnson. And that now is sending shockwaves through the rest of this little battle. They're still trying to pass Coulter Clark. They've gotten past Ethan Johnson. Clark goes high and tries to stay out of the way, but that was a scary moment for Dustin Stallings. And that spread the lead, by the way, up to more than 2.25 seconds.
The rookie versus the champ at the front of the field.
Meanwhile, it's still this fight for 5th. It's not going away. Fritz has a run. Maddox still down low. Johnny right behind. Look at Magnus Anderson shove his way into it.
Magnus Anderson wants to move. He wants to go. He wants to get close inside that top 5. He wants to break up all this Toyota dominance in the front 5.
Scott Fritz, a run again on the outside lane. Brendan Maddox just trying to work with it, and I think there you'll finally see the 23 give up the goose in that battle in particular. So now Magnus Anderson working on Johnny Wood Jr. and Brendan Maddox at the same time. Magnus slides back in turn 1. And now I think Brandvold's starting to work on Carl Puller, who's pitting. Puller is pitting out of 3rd. Green flag pit stops at Richmond. This is not at all what I expected, and he's not the only one to be on 140 plus laps. Tyler Bentley also doing the pit lane soon. I'd say 140 plus laps. It would be more like 70 plus. I'm sorry. The reset with the sim having crashed threw me off there, but Bentley out front by 3.6 seconds as Stallings comes in. Zachary Maddox as well. So Maverick Motorsports sans Brendan Maddox, who now is maybe coming in, not quite.
Brendan's coming.
Yes, he is.
This time. Wow, what a late move there by Brendan. That could have been really, really scary. Oh boy.
So Puller gets back on the racetrack. He cycles down to 21st, nearly 2 laps down. Shows you just how much time you lose here. He's in turn 1 now. The leader is out of turn 4, so he has not got much room. Although Bentley does still have to pit. He leads over Scott Fritz and Zach Brandville by 4.3 seconds. There's Zach Maddox off the pit lane. And I think here comes Bentley.
Gotta wonder if they took 4 tires there, they're just taking rights.
Good question. Let's check in. Stallings seems to have taken 4. Maddox.
Whoa, what?
Brendan Maddox seems
That's
to have
surprising.
taken 4. Carl Pooler seems to have taken 4. Zachary Maddox has taken 4. So they've all taken 4 tires. There you see Kyle Klenk pitting. He is in 16th place. He's got a lot of front end damage though. And Tyler Bentley has pitted. 4 tires there as well. Still over 50 laps to go. Battle for the race lead. It's now between Magnus Anderson and Scott Fritz. Anderson had the nose ahead there through 1 and 2. Fritz fires back on the outside down the backstretch. Anderson dives. Looks a lot like Stallings earlier in the race.
Scott Fritz has really elevated his game over the last 3 weeks with the new switch to the ARCA car. He's looking for that first career win, but also the guy in second is looking for his first career win, but the guy in third has 2 wins on these tracks.
Side by side for the race lead. Unrelenting between these two. Johnny Wood Jr. breathing down their necks. I would say Johnny's certainly a more successful driver so far in the series. I think that's pretty easy to say, but these two want to start making a statement. Scott won the stage. Magnus trying to make a name. And Magnus Anderson's going to work off of turn number 4, having taken the race lead. He's not clear just yet, but he's working on it down in turn 1.
Johnny Wood is the only driver in the series that is active with race wins here at these short tracks. Still looking for win number 3 on these short tracks. I believe win number 4 in his career. It's going to be really, really tight with the 4 and the 48. The 4 is going to be able to prevail here off of turn 4.
At least for now, as we tank 51 to go. Handful of cars yet to make their final stop. I would say the entire top 13 or so, with a few extras deeper in the field, all still have to pit. The first car on tires, that's Tyler Bentley. He's ahead of Dustin Stallings by about 2 seconds. That's where things would cycle out right now. Bentley with the race lead. If everybody were to pit under a green flag stop, it'd all take 4 tires.
Did Bentley take 4 tires or did he take 2?
He took 4.
And he took 4 as well. Oh man. I think the race winning strategy here is going to be 2 tires. The left side tires do not wear as much as the rights do, surprisingly, and it's been able to be 2 tires. I knew when I was in the call with my teammates, it was all 2 tires. That's all we're talking about. So it's gonna be surprising if we see if we see more 4 tire calls. Somebody wants to change it up.
I'm gonna bring something up here. A lap time comparison between your top 3 and Tyler Bentley. So just to show the difference between your top 3 and your top driver on tires. And that's a new lap for Anderson, Fritz, and Wood. 22.3, 22.3, 22.4. But Bentley, a 21.6 and a 21.7. So he's turning about a half second or more faster than these guys. Half second to 3/4 of a second faster. That's definitely going to make a difference. But it's hard, right? Because do you want to pit and give up this track position if you don't have to yet? I mean, these guys can go, I would say, 15 to 30 more laps, depending on who you are. Fritz, he's probably got about 15 left in the tank, maybe 20. Anderson, he could have 40 in the tank.
Sounds like Caden Perkins is coming to pit road. Yes, he is.
He has run about 79 laps, it looks like. That almost extends it, actually, enough to where Magnus Anderson could be considered to go to the end. I know there were some cautions there for Caden to save fuel. I don't know how aware Magnus is of the fuel situation. Oh boy. Let's see, let's listen in and see if he's putting the clutch in or anything. See if he's saving. No, he's not putting the clutch in at all down here. I think he's just running race laps as fast as he can right now. Meanwhile, battle for second's going to start up. Here comes Johnny Wood Jr. to the inside of Scott Fritz. These two each pitted 55 laps ago.
They're about 14, 15 laps away from their fuel window.
Of course, they could pit now, but if you've got the fuel to keep going, in case there's a caution, I think you kind of have to stay on the racetrack. You know, you'd be throwing away too much in case that caution comes out. So, yes, you might end up paying for it if it goes green, but I think the likelihood of a caution is higher than that of it going green. Meanwhile, here's Dustin Stallings working his way through some other cars. He has just passed Christian Barnes. Barnes has not yet pitted under this run. There you see Ethan Johnson off the pit lane in the 28 car. So Barnes is down to 13th spot. The top car on tires is still Tyler Bentley. He is now 11th. And the first car, one lap down, about 2.3 seconds ahead of Dustin Stallings. Do you think, Zach, that maybe, perhaps, drivers are more apt to give Tyler an easier time passing them than Dustin because they know Dustin is the defending champ?
If I was racing, I'd do the same thing. I'd just let the 12 go and then try to hold up the 00 if I was racing for position, because I know that 00 has so many wins on his record. He's got he's got a title now. I believe that very well.
Meanwhile, Caden Perkins with 13-lap fresher tires has just driven by Zachary Maddox. They've each taken 4 tires, and Caden made it look like the 14 was standing still. So a quick pass there is good for 17th position as this run goes on. Johnny Wood Jr. starting to reel in the 4 car. So Magnus Anderson's time out front may be coming to a close soon.
Looks like Robert Moyer's coming this time.
Robert runs down in the 7th spot currently. There he is, and he will pit. And Zach, I think a 4-tire stop has to be out of the question for these leaders at this point, right?
Yeah, it's got to be 2 tires all the way. It's got to be just right sides. The left sides do not wear as bad as everybody thinks they are. But that's what we learned last night in the practice race. 2 tires can win this race. Adam did really well last night and almost won the practice race last night on 2 tires.
Yeah, I think these guys have stayed out for too long, letting Maverick and those other drivers run faster laps for too long. They're going to give up too much if they take 4. I think at this point, it's got to be a 2-tire stop. And even for Magnus, do you consider fuel only to even save that little bit of time?
Yeah, I don't think that's the right call, because if you pit, you're gonna have to catch the 12 no matter what. We saw earlier in the race when Christian served his drive-through, he would stay on the lead lap and he was the leader. So it's got to play into a factor that where's Bentley running on track and how fast Bentley's catching still, if we could pull up that lap graphic again.
Let's bring up the same 4. Anderson on a 22.2. He's actually picked up since he got clear of those other guys. So he's going faster now. Fritz at a 22.5. Johnny at a 22.2, so he's also picked up. Bentley at a 22.1, so it's leveling off.
So how long has this been? About 15, 20 laps for Bentley Bentley after he pitted?
21 laps since Bentley pitted.
So you got about 20 laps until we start to get everybody starts to even out on the tire strat side. So what if you come at lap 180, you just take right sides, or you do take 4, and you got those 20 laps to push as hard as you can, running those faster lap times. That's what you got to be thinking about now. If you're Magnus Anderson here, that's what's so hard to win in this series, is all these varying strategies that can happen race to race, and how everything just changes at once. I see Jason Bottoms now on pit road.
I definitely don't think the move is 4. I think you definitely take 2. But if you're Anderson, if you're Wood, Fritz, anybody here at the front of the field, if you do plan on pitting still, if you plan on taking any tires, I think you do it with about 20 to go to make sure you can use the full extent of those tires being a little bit better before they level off. You want to make sure you use all of that advantage. I think you pit somewhere between 175 and 180 at the latest if you plan on taking tires. And look at this traffic. Everybody's starting to have to deal with this in different stints, right? And everybody's having to go through this kind of traffic at different times. That was chaotic just now for Magnus Anderson. Johnny Wood Jr. now having to go through it.
Magnus Anderson did not look like a rookie there passing those lap cars. He looked so composed and so driven to get through those guys, and he got through them so fast.
Scott Fritz has fallen off here. Here comes Anderson. I don't think this is a terrible play. I think it's a little bit earlier than I would have pitted, but let's see what he does here. This is a big domino to fall because he pitted most recently of these leaders. This is a really big domino to fall. Let's see what he does. I would imagine at least right sides. Yeah, right sides go up, but does he take 4? Does he take 2? I don't think you can take 2 and be competitive. He's taking 4.
Left side is up!
I'm sorry. I don't think you can take 4 and be competitive, and he's just done that.
Oh no. He's got to go. What is he doing?
I think he sped. I think, yeah, he had to have sped.
Yeah, he sped. Black flag. Speeding on pit road.
Throw it away.
Oh no!
It's a reminder of how hard it is to pit under green here.
A reminder of how hard it is to win in this series.
So again,
oh man.
Now we're watching the next domino to fall. You see Tyler Bentley coming to unlap himself. Let's show just those two. Johnny Wood last lap, 22.2. Bentley at 22.2. The times have leveled off. Johnny Wood was even fast, well, almost faster. Bentley picks up as well. A caution that saves him from having to pit. And it's, who is it? I think it's Jason Bottoms. No, he's just pitting again.
No, Jason Bottoms on pit road.
Wasn't Cameron Carden. Who the heck was the caution?
What? The 14 was very animated over the radio. The 23 was also very animated over the radio.
Well, because
it was the 56.
Well, the 14 and 23, of course, wanted this to go green. They would have been in the catbird seat for top 5s.
A spin.
Richard Walsifer here. 50 laps or so into a run. Let's watch this. Racing with Matthew Selby and Dakota Bly, but he's 21 laps down.
Oh my goodness. Oh. And I see why iRacing threw it. You saw all those cars come into frame as he was sideways. That could have been very bad. That could have been a very big wreck. Can't blame iRacing for that yellow. Oh, that is just terrible.
That throws a lot of drivers under the bus, and I think that's just going to make this really chaotic to the end. All it takes is that one untimely yellow. Here comes Johnny Wood. He takes 4 down and away. Absolutely. Now under caution, absolutely take 4. Scott Fritz takes 4. Gray Walker down and away with 4. Cody Dorsey's going to be top 4. Tyler Bentley, I think, has received the lucky dog. He's back on the pit lane. Tim Henderson has pitted. Stephen Borbell will stay out to try and get a lap back. He has not yet pitted for the final time today. He's due on the pit lane. He has been out there for 61 laps.
Got about 10 more laps in the tank. Oh, this is going to get really, really hectic here.
Bentley now having to let everybody go by.
I think the 12 just lost a lap.
He did.
Wow.
He did. Unsure as to what happened to cause that.
I think pit road exit was closed and he just didn't want to get the black flag.
That throws away the lucky dog. That's going to trap him a lap down with no chance of getting it back. We'll see if admins step in on that, but I don't think they will.
In the past, they have not. They leave that up to iRacing and what iRacing does, especially now that we've switched from no choose cone. Wow.
We're going to have 21 laps to go when we go back green. A handful of drivers getting their laps back. That's going to include Borbell, Stallings, Bly, Maddox, Brandvold, Pooler, Perkins, the other Maddox, and Barnes. So the top 14 will now be back on the lead lap. And wave rounds are still being dispatched by the pace car. I think this yellow needs to be extended here. Nobody is lined up.
Yeah, this is going to be very crazy.
This needs to be extended.
They're in the restart zone. Green flag's back in the air. 75 with a great launch of Johnny Wood Jr. Side by side behind him.
Gray Walker sends it into turn 1. Fight for second as Johnny pulls away. That's a chaotic way to get this race restarted. Battle for third, Gray Walker, Tim Henderson. Mr. Where did he come from? Had no front bumper for the longest time. He's now in the top 3, gets loose though.
Ho-ho! Walker in the wall.
Battle here. The 5, well, oh my gosh, these guys are 3 wide back here with Borbell, Van Wingerden, and Johnson up top. Oh boy.
This is...
Dorsey with a problem.
This race has fell into Johnny Wood's hands.
If there's no caution, this is going to be uncontested to the end, I think. He's the only driver with short track wins coming into today, despite Adam Buzzio statistically being better. The wins go the way of the 75 car. And he might keep the ball in his court until North Wilkesboro in a couple of weeks.
We keep saying Adam's the statistically best. He has 11 top 10s out of 12 starts on these short tracks.
That said, he's trapped
man.
2 laps down. He needs multiple cautions to get back into it. So up front, it's Johnny Wood Jr. and it's Scott Fritz. Everything with that green flag run thrown out the window, of course, with the untimely caution by the lap machine of Richard Wolsifer. So now it's just these two at the front, Johnny Wood Jr. and Scott Fritz.
Still running on board with Scott Fritz as you see Johnny Wood hits the wall out of turn 2. Can Fritz close up in enough time? How much time does he need to gain to get to his bumper to close them? 14 to go, or 13 to go now, sorry. Oh, man.
Let's bring up the delta here, bottom right. I mean, Johnny's just been faster, I think, most of the day than Scott. I know Scott won the stage earlier, but you know, within the last 50 laps at least, certainly it's been the 75 being a lot better than the 48. I just don't see Scott getting back to him without a caution. $11 laps to go here. Cody Dorsey racing with Brendan Maddox. This is for 6th. And Stephen Borbell is due to the pit lane. There he is. He's going to have to pit. He did not catch a caution. That is going to take us from 13 cars on the lead lap down to 12 and place Dakota Bly in the hot seat as the final car on the lead lap. He also is going to be due on the pit lane. He also has not pitted in many laps as Wolsifer has another moment. Oh my goodness.
Oh God, he
was so out of shape. What is going on?
I mean, we are at Richmond, aren't we?
Crazy stuff going on here in these final 50 laps or so. Cody Dorsey has an actual shot here at beating the 23. Dorsey's got much better tires, but both of them are getting free. This is for 6th. still side by side between these two, the 9 and 23, battling for 6th place. They can go either way between these two. Dorsey up the racetrack. This is far from over between these two cars. The top 3, by the way, it has completely split up. This is the best fight on the racetrack. Wow, what a weird night here at Richmond.
The Halloween-themed race, so we're going to get some Halloween-themed things going on.
You know what? I posed in the promo post earlier today the question, will it be tricks or treats? We've definitely gotten some tricks out here tonight. 5 laps to go this time by as Dorsey clears Maddox. This is your race leader, Johnny Wood Jr. We're tightening up for second. There's a lap car in between. That's Stephen Borbell on brand new fuel at least, maybe even some tires. But Scott Fritz has second. Tim Henderson wants it. Borbell trying to play nicely, but he wants to go by.
Scott Fritz lately has been oh so close. He's been winning stages. He's been leading a lot of laps in these races. He's looked so dominant. He's looked so good in these ARCA cars. It's just not gonna fall his way tonight. Hate it for that. You hate it when that happens.
Three laps to go. Johnny Wood Jr. leading here. Richmond Raceway, the action track in Richmond, Virginia. It's got so much history. Formerly the Richmond Fairgrounds. It's been a NASCAR since the late 1950s. It was a half-mile dirt track, then a half-mile paved oval. Got bumped out to being a 3/4 mile paved D-shape oval. Here it is now on iRacing. It got refreshed for the NASCAR 25 game. And Zach King with a lap and a half to go. We might have a caution. The 2's around. Yellow is out. Oh, boy.
For the second time at Richmond Raceway in the BRB Racing League, we are going to overtime.
Far from
hey,
over.
It's Halloween-themed race for a reason. Let's go. Heck yeah.
Question, was there contact? There was, actually. Henderson got into the 2 of Borbell and looped the 2 car around. This could really bite. 3rd place, Tim Henderson. He's trying to navigate lap traffic, got in deep, and just swept up the racetrack. Borbell had nowhere to go.
Stayed on car 12. He will be getting the lucky dog this time.
This is far from over. Do we see pit stops? If so, who comes in? It looks like the first car to pit is Zach Brandvold. He brings Carl Pooler, Zach Maddox, Dakota Bly, Christian Barnes, although Christian is 2 laps down.
Wowzers.
Johnny Wood Jr. has got to be unhappy with that. Just over a lap away from winning here at Richmond Raceway, and this could suddenly be a crazy one. Let's take a look, of course, at our Lucky Performance overtime rules. When we go back green, we will have 2 laps. Of course, we'll keep extending for caution laps as needed, but then there will be 2 laps left on the board. A green lap and a white lap, then checkers. If the green lap, for whatever reason, is not completed as a green lap, basically if we get a caution during it, if it is completed and we get to the white flag, the race is official at that point, they race it out. If it's not completed, we run it back up to 3 total times. This first restart will count as 1, so we have 2 more attempts in the bank. So again, 2 laps, a green lap, a white lap, then a checker to end it. If the green lap is completed at any time and we get the white flag, we race it out no matter what. But if we don't get that green lap completed, the first 2 times we restack and go at it again. The 3rd time it would be the final attempt and we would finish under caution. Henderson will stay in 3rd. That might go to further review later on. There's Johnny Wood Jr. with Scott Fritz on his outside. Tim Henderson, third. Then Gray Walker. Dustin Stallings is back up here. Maverick suddenly is back in it with a proper chance now. Cody Dorsey is sixth. Caden Perkins is up here. Zach Brandvold is the first car on tires. Actually, Zachary Maddox just came in for two. He's going to restart ninth. Here we go. Into overtime at Richmond Raceway. Let's settle this one. Short track racing on a Tuesday night. Green flag back in the air. Old tires out front. Can Johnny Wood Jr. hang on?
Lots of wheel spin from that second row and first row of the 48. Henderson's going to be able to clear Scott Fritz.
Can they complete this lap, or do we get a caution? Stallings in deep. He takes Fritz all the way up the racetrack. White flag. This race is official. There's a spinner. It's Carl Puller. Tim Henderson's going to have a shot down here in turn 3. It's going to be a long shot, but the 88 might have one final chance at the 75.
Too far back.
No dice. It's going to be Johnny Wood Jr. off turn 4, and the 75 will win at Richmond.
Johnny Wood's third win on these short tracks.
Johnny Wood Jr. winning here in season number 5, gets his first win in the ARCA car. This is the first win for Chevrolet and first win outside of Maverick Motorsports here in season number 5. The race at Daytona, the Sundance 250, went to Dustin Stallings in Maverick Motorsports. The race at Nashville last week went to Brendan Maddox.
Career win number 7 for Johnny Wood Jr. What a race. What a race.
And his teammate Richard Wolfsburg gets to bark it on the front stretch with him.
6-5 Motorsports. First win as a team in the BRB Racing League.
That's right. That driver there next to him, Dustin Stallings, does hang on for a third place effort. Tim Henderson, I believe, will grab his best career finish so far in the series with second. But Johnny Wood Jr. will be able to park it this evening in Victory Lane. Well, all of the chaos and calamity, head scratching, and trick-or-treating comes down to the 75 car out front. Let's take a look back at tonight's unofficial race results after an overtime finish here at Richmond Raceway. Boy, what a day. And it all ends up with car 75 on top of the scoring pylon. Johnny Wood Jr. with the win here at Richmond. Tim Henderson second, Dustin Stallings third. Scott Fritz in fourth, and Gray Walker completes your top 5. Cody Dorsey will finish 6th. How about that for car number 9? Brendan Maddox and Zachary Maddox, inseparable twins, 7th and 8th. It'll be Caden Perkins and Zachary Brandvold to complete your top 10.
At 11th, we got Dakota Bly in 12th. Tyler Bentley, 13th for Carl Puller. Spot in the last lap, able to get 13th. First car one lap down, Magnus Anderson. Behind him was Adam Buzzio. In 16th was Robert Moyer Jr., 17th, Christian Barnes, 18th, Evan Batinko, 19th, Stephen Borbell, Cameron Carter, first car, 3 laps down, finishes in 20th.
Finishing 21st, it will be car 69, Braden Van Wingerden, 4 laps down, just ahead of Coulter Clark. It'll be Jason Bottoms in 23rd, Kyle Clank hangs on for 24th after some big-time damage, Jeffrey Johnson in 25th. Richard Walsh for 21 laps down in 26th, and Sam Dyer, after the Chick-fil-A drive-thru, held him up. He finishes 27th. It'll be Matthew Selby, Joshua Parent, Anthony Teseo, and Spencer Chisnall through the balance of your field. Johnny Wood Jr. wraps things up in a big way here at Richmond Raceway. Let's bring in driver of the 75, Johnny. Wow, let's go back to that long green flag run. Of course, we're starting to debate, when does the 75 come in? When does the 48 come in? We saw the 4 come in, and we started to wonder when you might hit the pit lane. What was the plan until that caution?
So last night, whenever I done the little practice race, my goal was to run it completely dry and then take 2 and then go off again. And that was my goal, was just to run it completely dry. I was pretty much getting down to, 3 laps to E and getting ready to, had everything set up for 2 tires and a little bit of fuel. And because we did run it green last night, so I wasn't really banking on any more cautions, just because everybody did really good last night, and it seemed to be trending the same direction tonight. So I was kind of sticking to that plan, and as I was watching people just drop into the pit road, I was like, yes, keep going. And me and Fritz, I think Fritz was staying out the longest, or somebody else. Somebody was with us. Magnus, I think.
Yeah, Magnus had pitted a little before you guys.
Yeah, and he was trailing, kind of playing the same game, and I was like, no, go down pit road. And finally, luckily it was a caution.
Well, you hang on here for 35 laps led at the end, and this keeps you, as the only driver in the series, to actually have a win, to be able to close out a win on a short track. We have North Wilkesboro in just a few races. How do you feel about that track being added to the schedule?
Yeah, I think it might be good. I know it's a tight, narrow track, especially if it's still, I don't think they made an update. I think it's still got, grass on the apron?
Oh, no, we've got the new one.
Sure. Oh, so we got the new concreted aprons or whatever. So that might help out a little bit. I know it's very narrow and it gets loose coming off of 4, I think, going down that straightaway, and it'll be fun. Hopefully, with what we've seen here happens, continuing on. I'm liking the car, and I feel like everybody else is doing pretty good with the car, so I'm digging it so far.
Well, Car 75 finally gets a win in this new car, this new era of the BRB Sundance Pro Series. Johnny, good to talk to you. Congratulations. When can you back this one up? Is it going to be Wilkesboro or maybe the road course next week at Long Beach?
I won't be here next week. I'm going to Nashville on vacation, so luckily I get to skip out on the old road course tester. But I don't know the schedule right offhand, but yeah, I'm looking forward to more short tracks and mile and a half, so I'm curious about that. See what's going on. I'm checking the schedule right now. I know Nashville last week was a bummer. Let's see. Long Beach, Charlotte. Charlotte would be fun. Yeah. Pocono. I love Pocono. I hate Chicagoland.
Sounds like you might have some tracks coming up your way that might work out for you, Johnny. Like I said, good to talk to you. Best of luck as the season rolls on.
Yep. Shout out Justin Wood.
That's a big win for Johnny Wood Jr. this evening. 35 laps led when it's all said and done. He gets it done over Tim Henderson. And Zach, what I think has to be a big surprise result, considering he had no front bumper at one stage in this race.
Yeah, Tim Henderson, the 3rd week in a row we have a rookie on the top 3 steps to the podium. Tim, take me through what happened on that last restart. How were you able to drive through the field tonight?
Luck. A whole lot of luck and patience. That's all you need. A little luck to go your way, even though there was a lot more bad luck than there was good luck. I got turned around late in the race, racing a lap car. Was able to just time everything right, I guess, and just I played my way. I was dealt a good hand. I should go to Vegas.
Yeah, finishing second has to be a career day for you. It's your 3rd race in the league, first time in the top 3 steps of the podium. Take me through your reaction to that finish.
It was just a good battle. I mean, when you go into a late race restart like that, you know there's gonna be beating and banging, and just shout out to everyone in the top 6 that that they got together. I'm looking at it right now behind me, but at least it was behind me. That's all that matters.
I think Zach might have trailed off there for a second. Tim Henderson, congratulations. P2 is a big day for you, and we'll be watching out for you at Long Beach next week.
You don't need to be watching out for me. It's not a good place.
We'll keep an eye out nonetheless. Tim Henderson maybe not looking forward to the street course next week at Long Beach, but let's move on down to third place Dustin Stallings, who I'm sure is relieved to finally get a good traditional oval finish here this evening after the chaos that was Nashville a week ago. But Dustin, what was it like out there? You got one lap lead out of a whole 205, and you come home third place, but how did you get there?
Honestly, it was a kind of pit strategy up to that yellow that come out toward the end of the green flag pit cycle that was happening with about like 50 to go, or pretty much the later stage there, because our team, I mean, we had a pretty great strat, and I think it would have put us in a good spot to maybe sweep the top 5, but yeah, it's just that timely caution with, I think it was 2 to go coming to 1, and I think it was Adam and Steven that got together, or netcode or something, that brought the caution out, but that kind of helped me with just re-racking and having another restart, being able to be right there with Johnny and Fritz and even Tim there, but me and Tim got a pretty good launch on that last restart and kind of put us in a good position to get in P2 and P3. The battle I had with Fritz there toward the, like, in that green-white checkered. I know we were door-to-door off of 2 on that restart, coming to the green, and I don't think we touched doors on the back stretch, but going into 3, I kind of sailed it off in there and kind of ran them up the track. I wouldn't necessarily say it was intentional, but it was something that was kind of given to me earlier in the race. So I kind of paid to return the favor, but it was fun racing with Fritz throughout the race. Nothing real egregious or nothing. Just, I mean, racing at short tracks, I mean, you're going to get fed a door every so often, and it's just kind of controlling your emotions and try not to wreck in the midst of it. But yeah, just super proud of the team, and with little practice that I had, the only practice I had was last night and then before the race tonight because I was out of town. But felt good to get a P3, especially after how last week went.
And now we look straight forward to a street course with this car. We've just gotten used to it on places like Nashville and Richmond, and now we're throwing in some right turns and a fountain in there, a hairpin in another spot. How do we feel about Long Beach next week?
Honestly, I have little to no hope for myself with Long Beach. Never ran the track, and I don't even think I've even had any practice at all. I won't even own the track, I don't think, but I'm just gonna have to make do and just kind of wing it, which the past couple seasons I've kind of started getting better with road courses, but I don't really have much experience with the ARCA car as far as road courses, so that's gonna be fun. It's just gonna kind of get what I can get and just hope for the best.
Dustin Stallings gets it done after a crazy route to get here through that long green flag run and being trapped a lap down. Dustin, you can't be denied a top 3 tonight. Congratulations, and hopefully we're talking to you next week.
Appreciate it, buddy, and give a shout out to you guys on the broadcast. Love y'all's work. Glad to have y'all partnered up with this league and covering us. And shout out to all the admins and all the other partners and sponsors with the league. And definitely a big shout out to my teammates and our alliance with Spirit. We had a good showing tonight up until the end. I hate it for a couple of our guys that got caught up in that late race stuff. But definitely the efforts there. It's just kind of putting things together and just being in certain positions to avoid some stuff that happens in front of us or around us. But super happy, and we'll see you guys next week.
That we will. Dustin Stallings moving on to the third place finish here tonight at Richmond. Good to talk to you, Dustin. And Zach, I'll pivot right back over to you. This was an odd night here at Richmond Raceway. I don't know for sure if these stats are correct. Usually ATVO will update these stats even if you join mid-race. At the end of the race, I think we had 9 cautions. It might have been more, but I don't think it was too much more. If it was, I mean,
no, it was 9. You're on the money. So it's on the money, correct.
So it did update 9 cautions. Not bad. I'll be honest. I know there's been a lot of conversation about needing to bring the caution numbers down, and I mean we made the graphic for it to have the session timer and everything. We didn't need it tonight, so that's a good start. To head in the right direction, I think, for these guys on these short tracks. And, you know, when you look ahead to Wilkesboro coming up in round 6, I think this is a kind of short track night the series really needed to show it can be done within the bounds of the time limit. We can get all these laps in, and it doesn't have to be, you know, some crazy big night with tempers flaring. I think we got through it okay, and this was a lot of forward progress in that regard. Hopefully that puts everybody in a good mood for what is going to be a very challenging street course next week. Kind of a short track of street courses, if you will. Long Beach is a rough place to go race. It's so much fun, though. I really do love that place.
Yeah, Long Beach next week's going to be really, really fun to watch. You know, a lot of these drivers don't sound very happy to be going there next week, but they got to follow what the schedule says, and the schedule says we're going to Long Beach, so we're going to Long Beach. Should be a really fun race. Definitely expect maybe if Gavin or Mason show up, it's going to be one of them up front, but if they don't race, it could be anybody's race next week.
It definitely could be. So as we move forward here in the season for the BRB Sundance Pro Series, this is what we have to look forward to. Long Beach next week, then a trip out to Indianapolis Raceway Park for the Sarah Pierce Fleet Service Super Series next Thursday, and then we continue on with Charlotte for the BRB Sundance Pro Series after that. So a lot of great racing coming up. You can check it all out on pits.tv on the social media links down below. We did, admittedly, with all the chaos going on tonight, the hardware failure at one point and everything else, we did not get the driver of the day vote in today, so we will default that to race winner Johnny Wood Jr. I promise we'll make sure we get that back on screen for you next week and get you all involved in that next week at Long Beach. But boy, it was just one of those nights. We were just trying to put out all the fires, both on the racetrack and in the broadcast booth. But Zach, 3 races in, we get a taste of this ARCA car. How do we feel?
I feel like had a little bit of an issue last week with the time, but I mean, I feel like they're coming around to it. I feel like we're starting to figure out how this car works, how these runs are made, how passes are made, and to deviate away from how you had to race the next gen car, because that's so ingrained in everybody's driving styles from racing it for the past 4 seasons. Now coming into season 5, we're switching over to the ARCA car. You have to change how you drive, and that's simple. That's what we had the issue with last week. I felt like at Nashville, we're trying to move into how we drive with the ARCA car, and I'm happy to say, but I think we're finally turning that corner. We're able to make this ARCA car look really, really good, and we're performing really, really well.
Good night here at Richmond, even though there might have been some monsters out in the corners spooking these guys in turns 2 and 4, especially that 4th corner. I think it was a little frightening out there, but I'm glad we got the race in the way it went, and 205 laps. We even got bonus laps here tonight, so how about that? A big thank you to the BRB Sundance Pro Series partners, of course Sundance Pizza and the Gavin Rogers family. All do so much for this series. We literally would not be here without them. A big shout out as well to Ascendance Trucks, Idea Lease, KC Athletics, RevSimShop.com, Performance Food Group, Whiplash SimCams, CC's Business, MXWraps.com, and this evening, the Pulaski Swamp Donkeys, bringing you the Pulaski Swamp Donkeys 200, or I guess 205 in this case here at Richmond Raceway. Big thank you as well to our partners, Whiplash SimCams, ATBO, CC's Business, Cody, Williams Design, Lucky Performance, and the North American Racing League. That's going to do it for us here tonight at Richmond Raceway. Thanks so much for checking in and joining us here tonight. Until next time at Long Beach next week, we'll see you on the street course in a week's time. Until then, have a great night.